Good evening, one and all, to the second round of MRC-X here at Montreal, Canada, at the St. Lawrence River in Montreal itself. The circuit Gilles Villeneuve. My co-con tonight, who's also going to be racing. What can I say about him? Multiple champion, and very recently, Crofty's #1 fan. It's the captain of the comms team. You can hear him laughing. It is Mark Hodgson. Welcome to the... Welcome, Mark.
Hello, my friend. Hello, mate. Yeah. Just last minute, I had to jump in and grab a seat as well, but still joining in the commentary box. And yeah, that was an interesting Thursday night I had last night, must be said.
Yeah, talk of the entire Discord.
Yeah, there was an event one of my manager and the boss went to. We won an award with Hyundai themselves, and the speaker was Crofty, and I get a phone call, a video call just after 9 o'clock, and answer the phone, and there's Crofty's faces there, and had a brief chat with the man of Formula One himself, and that was a very, very surreal, I must say. That was absolutely incredible. He didn't hear me very well because of the noise that they had there in the background, but to say to him, look, yeah, I'm a commentator as well, and eSports F1 for MRC, and tell him briefly about MRC was absolutely fantastic, and he absolutely loved it. I'm a commentator as well, and the love of F1, so he was a really nice guy, actually. Really, really nice to talk to him. Like I say, it was very brief, but yeah, absolutely surreal experience. I was literally on cloud 9 and shaking all night, really, from it. It was just absolutely incredible buzz.
Yeah, I'll get back to that as we're going to follow Jackster, who's in a Red Bull, funnily enough, for tonight, as he comes through the final chicane to start his first final lap of the night, and also this qualifying session as he crosses the line and heads to turn 1 and then straight into turn 2. You can see the pit exit on the left hand side. Careful on the power as we go through to turn 3 and 4. Try and keep it out the wall on exit. Then it's through turn 5 and then braking around about 100 metres for turn 6. And then turn 7's there as well. Be careful on power. He just about caught it. DRS open now as we head down towards turn 8. Braking around about the bridge. And then through 9 as well. Then we head towards the heavy braking of turn 10. Nice and smooth again. Careful on the power. Easy to spin the rears up on exit. And then we go through the slight little kink of 11 as it's flat out down towards the final 2 corners of 12 and 13. And as we all know, be careful of the dreaded wall of champions on the exit of turn 13. Just clips it on the way through, but no damage, and it invalidated as well, sadly. But we'll see what time he does. It was 11.3, but it doesn't count because he clipped the wall at the exit of the final corner. So Jackster will be looking to go again, as G-Star sets a 1:11.0 to set the benchmark. And let's see, we'll you're coming to the end of your lap, Mark, so we'll briefly watch you finish yours on a set of mediums, as Ben does a 9.9 to take provisional pole on a set of mediums himself, and Mark's going to come down to the start-finish line and sets a 10.7 for his bank lap on a set of mediums. Solid job there.
Yeah, quite nice. I had a very sketchy start of the lap. I know I dropped about probably quite a few tenths, I'll be perfectly honest. I know I did, I felt it. But no, the rest of the lap was okay, decent. Not a lot of grip to be afforded by these mediums at this stage. But yeah, it's not a bad opener. I'm quite happy with that one.
Yeah. Currently following Kid Dynamite as he makes his way through turns 6 and 7. DRS open now as he heads down towards 8 and 9 in the V-Carb tonight, along with G-Star. MRC-X, no constructors. It's just drivers. And in between quali and race, I'll run through the results from last week, the sprint and feature race, and also the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship after the very first round of the championship. As Kid enters the penultimate and final corner and takes the run to the line and goes P3 with a 10.2. So some decent lap times coming in at this moment in time. We'll find somebody coming to the end of the lap, and Freddie's got the red, so he's invalidated. We'll see Armand red as he comes to the line. P7 with a 10.9 for his opener. So we'll find Jules, who's also got the red, so he's invalidated, and it's invalidated his next lap as well, so he's going to probably box it after this lap.
Interestingly, we've got, we talk about Benny every week, and he's of course realistic performance as well tonight. It's nice for me to be back in the Aston Martin, spent 3 seasons here, can't familiar with, but then we've got Benny who set that lap time in a Haas.
Yeah, and don't forget, I think you were racing last week as well. He was in a Sauber last week, and he also was towards the front end of the grid as well, in a Sauber.
Yeah, I mean, we used to say this about Kid Dynamite, and he's right up there as well. We just need to put a parachute on these guys, or something, because that's ridiculous. A little update to the weather.
Yeah, I've just seen what Martin...
of rain, in qualifying, and a little smattering quite early on, actually, in the race as well. So, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, Martin has brought up that thunderstorms late race. Colin just pops up in the YouTube chat. Hi Colin, yeah. Shame you couldn't be on the grid. I too was meant to be on the grid, but I had to dash to the comms box instead. So you got to put up with my voice for tonight. And my dreary facts. So I hope everyone can stay awake.
I'm sure we're all good for that, especially with the I think if it's going to have the rain, I think it's going to be an interesting one, this one. I think this track, not always very grippy, especially that turn 1, turn 2 section, and with the left right, the amount of chicanes we have around here, it really lends itself to sort of a bit higher downforce than you would expect. And it's especially with a bit of rain, it's that trade-off, because I mean, I've got it on my radar that it is going to dry up, and it's only light rain, so sort of intermediate tyres, and it's just sort of a little trade-off there, really. What do you go with? Do you risk it and go full dry, or do you sort of have a bit of a compromise setup? So that's going to be an interesting one for everyone this evening. I think it throws another sort of question, you could say, amongst everybody this evening.
Yeah, just looking at YouTube chat again, Lewis Carter popped up and says Ben needs to be nerfed. So another person that's saying that something needs to be done with Ben's pace.
That is C8 Lou.
Yep.
Mr. Carter.
Colin, Doris has insane pace lately. Yeah, Doris has always had phenomenal pace, and it's bad enough having to put up with that pace every single week. And speaking of every week, been following me tier 2 teammate Mr. Hills as he comes to the line in his Ferrari tonight and does 11.9 to get his on the way, as Ben's improved to a 9.2.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
He's probably been hearing the comments about being nerfed, and he's saying, come get me, have some of that.
Could probably outrun a nerf, to be fair.
Still got a few people yet to set lap times, so we'll catch Jackster as he's on another attempt to get one on the board. He's right behind his the second Red Bull, which is also his teammate in tier 2, Roddy, but Roddy gets out the way nice and unhampering. So Jackster heading under the bridge and through 8 and 9. Hopefully he can make this lap count. Just under 8 minutes left, so still plenty of time to get laps in. few cars ahead of Jackster, but hopefully they'll see that he's on a fast lap and not get in his way. The V-car gets out the way safely, and so too does the Ferrari as he enters turns 12 and 13. He does keep it in limits this time, and he will make this one count as he goes on 11.4 into P12. Still plenty of time to get a quicker lap in. Jules invalidated again. He's got the red track map down in that corner, so he's not going to have this lap count. We'll see what Freddie can do as he's trying to make a bit of space. He too still yet to get a time on the board. The second Ferrari, as I've just noticed on the timings page at the left hand side, that Kid Dynamite 9.8. So ball's still in Ben's park at the moment, but we're going to see what Freddie can do in here in the Ferrari as he enters turn 1. McLaren staying well out the way, so unhindering. Very smooth by Freddie through this first sector. Ooh, back end wanted to come out at turn 6, but he caught it well. DRS wide open as he heads towards turn 8. Nice and smooth through 9 as well. Flat out to the heavy brake in turn 10. Oh, but the back end came out, and again he's round at the exit of turn 10. Think he kept the line a little bit. Here. Yeah, I think he kept the line a little bit too tight, and the rear just spun up. Evening, Andrew. Let's find
so an interesting fact here is it is starting to cloud over, and I have on my radar that it is due to rain very soon.
Yes.
So I think it's approximate weather though, so it could be one of those that we may get away with it. But I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't have the best lap last time round, so I'm going out now before any potential wet weather does come our way. I think there's still a few shadows on track, so it's not dark yet, but we know how quickly it can change, and usually does change on this game. So
yeah, less than 5 minutes left in this qualifying session, so still plenty of time for movers up and down, as we've got Saviour into the 1.9s now on that left hand side. Still nobody able to get close enough to Ben's 9.2, so he's looking comfortable as we're going to follow G-Star, who's currently P12 on a 1:11.070, looking to get somewhere near the 1:09s low 10s while the track is still dry and the rain is keeping away. Not many people out on track at this moment for saying there's meant to be rain looming, but
yeah, there's a few people who've just leaving the pits now.
Yeah, there's a few people on outlaps. Yeah, it's G-Start, DRS open on the drag down towards the final chicane. Flicks it through nice and tidy. He'll take the run to the line. And there's a 10.4, so he's up to P7, a 6.5 tenth improvement for G-Star. As we catch Roddy, one of the Tier 2 drivers in tonight, in the Red Bull. Had a brilliant debut week, showing that he's got some phenomenal pace under him, and ones to watch in Tier 2. Nice line through 10. The Aston keeping out the way, DRS open on the Red Bull. As he heads down towards the final chicane. Flicks it through. Keeps it out the wall of champions as well on exit. Goes to line. A 9.7 from Roddy to go P3. Phenomenal lap.
Just as the spots of rain start to come down.
Yeah, we can see the raindrops forming, so the rain is here. So if you're out on track, take full advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I just got my lap in time. Wasn't a bad lap, to be fair. 9.7, I'll take it.
Yes.
I knew I had that sort of there the last time out, so you know there was a bit more grip this time, a bit more risk involved. But yeah, happy enough with that. Currently P4. It's going to be interesting to see how people can cope now with the rain coming, and the grip's going to surely disappear very, very quickly around here now.
Yeah. And as we know with the game, it can affect the track very, very slowly or very, very quickly. So everyone trying to get a lap in before the track gets too wet, as Doris goes P5 on a 9.8. Let's find somebody else. We've got Armar coming through. Turn 5 into 6. Rain looks relatively light and the track doesn't seem to be getting too greasy at the moment, so drivers got a chance to get a lap in. A minute and 20.
It is coming down.
Bit of a moment there. Sorry, Mark. Bit of a moment for Armar through turn 9. Rassam has called it a day in the pits. Probably looked at the weather and thought, I ain't going to get time to get a decent run in, but we'll carry on with Armar. And I think he's backed out of it because of that moment. The DRS stage shut, so he's going to be going again now.
Yeah, I think this is now getting to this sort of crossover period where we could see the DRS being disabled if it gets wet enough, but we're in the last minute of qualifying, so I think there's a lot of drivers in the pits have said, yep, that'll do for us. Yeah,
Ben is one of them. He's retired in the pits and called it. As we've just seen Jules go head first into the wall. Just briefly jumped on board with him and he went straight face first into it. So there's a yellow flag there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a key now. I think with that, with that lack of grip, everyone is pushing hard on the dry tyres and trying to keep that grip and keep the focus, keep the pace up. That's going to be hard on their last laps now.
Yeah, the track's looking a bit greasy. Watching Armar trying to get round to the start-finish line to end this qualifying session. Everybody else is in the pits now, and Armar's going to go in. So that is the grid with the rain stopping the final flurry at the flag. So Ben, unchallenged with his 9.2. Nobody could get close to it. So he'll take pole position here in Canada. But it is Saviour on the front row. And as we know, Saviour never gives up. He never makes things easy for people. So that's going to be an interesting turn 1 at the start. We've got Roddy and Mark on the second row just behind him. And then the third row, as we'll go on. The third row is Doris and Kidd in 5th and 6th. 4th row, G-Star and Armar 7th and 8th. The 5th row is Lorpy and Rassam in 9th and 10th. Soze 11th and Jules 12th makes the 6th row. Jackson 13th and Friddy in 14th is the 7th row. And then at the very back of the grid and all on his own on the 8th row, Single Track rounds off the grid and we'll be heading for a 5-minute break now to allow drivers to go do their business and ponder about what strategy to go for. But weather pending from what you've told me, Mark, and what Martin said as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think because there's this 5-minute break that we have in the lobbies now, that drivers have that bit of a breather and things. I think, and set strategies. Because of that, I think, let me have a quick look. Well, the rain is coming towards the end of the race. I can say that. So this is where I think a strategy is going to be really interesting for everybody. I think it's going to be one to see, well, can you take the tyres that little bit longer and, to almost where the rain is? This is going to be a complete unknown, I think, for people. It's going to be an interesting one to see how far people can take tyres. It's going to be an interesting one to see the strategies, like I say, that's going to be coming into play here, and that it's going to be tough, definitely, 100% with that interchangeable weather. And on my radar, to say the least, is light rain, about 2/3 of the way through, going into a bit heavier towards the end. So, yeah, this is going to be quite a bit of moving and shaking, and seeing who has gone with a drier setup.
And it'll be also interesting to see if anyone's going to brave those hard tyres and just hang it out till when the rain comes, as the hards do have plenty of life in them. They've just not got that much pace.
Yeah, I think it's something that we may see that a few drivers trying to do. I think it's one that it's a difficult one, whether it's a risk worth taking or not. And then, like you say, exactly as you say, do you risk that before the rain comes, or do you just go, okay, well, rather take the pace advantage? But it's not the slowest pit lane in here.
No, it's not. It's not at all. But while we've got time, we'll run through the results from last week in Portugal. The sprint will start off in Tier 1. Ben was first, Kidd second, Calvin third. That was the top three for Tier 2. The top three for Tier 2, Tier 1 earlier, this is Tier 2. Doris won with Roddy second and Lorpy third. And then Tier 3 was Night Shadow first and Smith second. The feature race results for Tier 1 finished Kid Dynamite in first, Calvin second and Saviour in third. Tier 2 was Armar in first, Flaherty in second and Single Track third. And Tier 3 was Smith first and Night Shadow second, which puts the championship like this. Championship leader on 32 points after the first race of the season 16 is Kid Dynamite with Armar second, only 3 points off. Calvin a further 3 points off of Armar in third. Flaherty fourth. Ben finds himself fifth. Roddy is sixth. Doris is seventh. Single Track eighth. Smith is ninth. And rounding off the top 10 in that championship is Saviour, which I'm not used to seeing his name that far down, but that's the magic of the way the championship is and how the points are dished out in MRC-X.
Yeah, and that's what makes it, as you say, good fun. That's what makes people interested. That's what makes people race it. It's exactly that. It's the difference that people have, and the difference in the strategies that people use, of course, with the different tiers that we have. So it makes it more fun and really spices everything up.
Yeah, we've only got two tier classifications taking part, and both of them have got easily more than 5 drivers, so it's maximum points for both tiers. We've got no one representing Tier 3 tonight on the track, which is first time in a long while, as we await for everyone to get the go-ahead at some point. It'll be 35 laps, total race length distance of 94.847 miles. It'll be 13 corners, 5 to the left, 8 to the right. First Grand Prix in Canada was held on the 8th of October 1978. The circuit length in its current form is 2.709 miles long. Race lap record is held by Valtteri Bottas. This lap was set in 2019 of a 1:13.078. Could see quicker times on this because the game tends to run quicker than the real life cars. Most successful driver. Yeah, especially with yeah.
We've got a good chance of that, to be fair.
Yeah, most successful drivers as the head of our own formation lap. Michael Schumacher and Sir Lewis Hamilton, I'll pronounce that correctly, with 7 wins apiece. And the most successful team at this track, because I had to do a bit of maths, because Ferrari do have 14, but one of them was not a classified round of the championship. So it is McLaren with, actually I think, no, Ferrari have 2 wins taken away because they're not classified in the championship. So McLaren hold the most here at 13. So there you go. Few magical moments that happened at this particular track. Obviously, who can forget the magical 2007 rookie year of Lewis Hamilton? 6 races, and when it came to Canada, he gets his first race win. And another popular driver to get his first race win at this track is none other than the Honey Badger himself, Daniel Ricciardo, in 2014, after both Mercedes had issues. But the most mental and historical race of all happened in Canada in 2011, where Jenson, who can forget it? It's still classified as the longest Formula One race in history, and I don't think it's going to get beaten because of the ruling they brought in that the race cannot run over 2 hours. So he collided with Lewis. He then had a drive-through. He then collided with a Ferrari, found himself towards the back at a safety car restart, but still found his way through to take Sebastian Vettel at turn 6 to go on to win on the very last lap. So, crazy race that year. As we wait for the 5 red lights, we'll go on board with Roddy on the second row to get a nice look as we head down towards Taiwan, and the lights are out and we're underway. As everyone feeding through turns 1 and 2, Ben holds the lead with Xavier second. As it's Mark getting ahead of Roddy, as we have a yellow flag further behind. We've had 2 cars tangle. Jules and Freddie have had a moment. Jackster had a phenomenal start. He's up 5 places already on this opening lap. We'll just have a little look at tyres to see what people... And yes, there are a few people that are deciding to stretch out for the hard tyres to take it to the rain. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers on hards, and the rest are on medium, so it's near enough an even split for tyres.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was sort of talking about earlier on, in terms of that, because of the delay that we have, that it can bring that wet weather that was looking, the hards were going to be more favourable, and it swings it a little bit to the mediums, which is why I've chosen that personally, and I think probably everyone else has, in terms of that's just to think, okay, well, if the wet weather comes a bit sooner, then the hards may not have that full benefit, although the crossover will come, I do believe.
Yeah. You got a lovely train of cars behind you at this moment in time, and we've got Ben and Xavier breaking away from you in first and second.
Yeah, they are very quick, so I have a feeling I will be very vulnerable down the back straight.
Yeah, you got Roddy all over your rear diffuser in that Red Bull.
Oh, I can see him. Yeah, he is that yellow nose cone, definitely there.
Yeah, Kid's not too far behind as well in that train. You've got Doris as well, Lorpy at the back of it. So DRS on the way down to the final chicane.
Yeah, double DRS as well.
Yeah, 1 detection point but 2 activations, bit like Australia's. Roddy was bouncing across the inside curb at turn 13, which unstable the car a little bit, not close enough to Mark. I'm guessing by that sound there was a little bit of contact into one, but nothing too severe. As further back, further back, Rassam has got past the other Red Bull of Jackster. They've swapped places in 9th and 10th, both on the hard tyre. both looking to go long and gauge when the rain comes, with Armagh just at the head of those two, with a 2.6 second gap to the Mark Hodgson Express.
Yeah, I'm looking at that gap. There's not a lot I can really do. I'm half having to defend and just keep it neat. I already have one warning, just got a little bit too deep into turn 5, took a bit too much to the entry curve. So yeah, that's something I need to be aware of. And I think this is one of those tracks as well that, you know, does warrant quite a few warnings. You mentioned the last chicane, and then we've got the oops, I think that went a bit long. The first corner as well. And I think Roddy's a bit closer this time out into turn 1. He is.
Yeah, he's on your inside, and I think he took that nicely. You kind of cut some of the curb at turn 1, makes the move nice and neat. You give plenty of space, so fair racing by the pair of you. But it's still anyone's behind you two, with Doris all over the back of Kid Dynamite as they head towards turn 6. Where it's anyone's at that point. As go a bit further back, we've got Single Track with his own little battle in 11th, with Keyser Soze in 12th, Ferrari and Mercedes. Many battles here, in particular Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, as Jax has picked up 3 seconds, and I think Doris has got past Kid. He's got down the inside of Kid Dynamite at turn, looks like round the outside actually, at turn 10.
Yeah, I saw that in my rear mirror. That looks really good move from them both. They'll both have the DRS as well, off the back of myself and Roddy.
Yeah, Lorpy still keeping tabs on the back of that train. As whilst we've been following the battles further back, Saviour is leading now with Ben in second, so that fight will most likely be going all the way to the flag, as Jackster has gotten ahead of Armagh in the way into turn 1, so the Red Bull ahead of the McLaren, with Rassam just behind. Rassam also with a penalty at this stage in the race, as Doris has now taken Mark Hodgson, looking around the outside into 6. Nice.
Yeah, so I got very sideways through the turn 4 and 5, just couldn't hold it, so it was moving. I think Kid's got a good one on me as well.
Ooh, that looked a bit closer than lovely helicopter view of the three of you. Kid, and I think Lorpy's trying to follow him through as well. So Kid looking to go around the outside of Mark at turn 10. Not able to pull it off, but will get better traction with the wider line out of 10. And it'll be a drag race down towards turn 12.
I think he's sort of got it, and he does.
Yep. Kid gets the place into the braking zone for turn 12 and moves up to P5. Now he can look at challenging Doris just ahead. Roddy finds himself 2.1 seconds behind Ben and Saviour, but he is leading tier 2, which all he needs to focus on. So Ben back in the lead is leading tier 1, Roddy leading tier 2. Only 2 tiers being represented, with no tier 3 drivers on track, so there's only 2 tiers to keep an eye out. So currently Ben first in tier 1, Roddy first in tier 2. But Doris in clean air can easily close that gap to Roddy, but he's got his rear full of Kid Dynamite at this stage as they enter turn 10. Lap 6 as we head towards lap 7, as Saviour's going to go for a move with DRS into turn 12. Saviour retakes the lead and will have DRS on the way down to turn 1, so Ben will not be able to get it back. He'll be hoping to keep tabs on the back of the Alpine and hopefully return the favour on this lap, heading down towards turn 12 with the DRS out of turn 10 and 11.
I think Doris is struggling, even though he's on the hard tyres. He was struggling with exactly what I had last lap. Very snaky on power, for him at the moment, so I managed to get through him, but yeah, I'm sure that'll come back round once he's settled the heat and those tyres down.
Yeah, Canada has definitely been one of those tracks that we've had over the years in the F1 games where you have to really, really manage that rear, because there's so many places you can lose it on acceleration, and also the low grip surface as well of this particular track as well. So still a long way to go as we jump back to the front. Ben not close enough to have a look at Saviour. He will have DRS and just close the gap, but will not be close enough to make a move into turn one. So Ben having to sit tight at this stage behind the Alpine, as Doris and Mark, as we jump to side by side at turn two. Doris with a bit of a moment, but well held. So that's Mark defending with Doris, or I think ahead. I can't remember who was where.
Yeah, defending, had a good run out of the final corner to Doris, so got the extra bit of hint with that DRS, and just unfortunately we've just dropped a little bit out of that DRS to Kidd, but only just.
Yeah, the pair of you have dropped Lorpy. He's 1.6 seconds back of that battle between you two.
That was a bit snaky as well through there, so that's not helped either of us.
Nah, Jackster bringing his own contingent, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th, all within the same proximity of each other. Two of those carrying penalties at this stage, as Ben has retaken the lead on the run down to 12. So expect Ben and Saviour to be trading places pretty frequently through this race, as Rassam gets Jackster, the Aston, ahead of the Red Bull. Single Track is now the third person to have a penalty next to the name, as he's picked up 3 seconds. It's going to be a long night.
I've had 2 warnings, I'm sure I'm going to have one very soon.
Yeah, there's so many places to pick up track limits. You got, obviously, if you clip the Wall of Champions on the exit of turn 13, there's even on the entry into turn 12, if you cut it too much, there's there's many places to pick up track limits. So especially when the tyre,
every corner really, apart from the hairpin.
Yeah, pretty much. But it gets a lot worse once the tyre wear starts to kick in. That's when we'll probably start to see track limits come a bit more frequent, as it's getting a little bit duller now and the clouds have rolled in. So expect every driver, including Mark, to be keeping an eye out and keeping an ear out to what their in-game engineers are saying.
Yeah, I did just have a quick check there on the radio. It did just say it's a few laps out, but coming.
Yeah, there's
so a bit vague, really.
Yeah, there's still a bit of shadow out there, so it's not completely overcast just yet. There's some shading where the trees are. So it's not imminent just yet. Kidd now finds himself P3 after dropping Roddy, who's got Doris all over the back of him. That is the first and second battle for Tier 2, whereas we've got the first and second for Tier 1 further up the road with Saviour and Ben. Ben hooked up behind the Alpine into turn 10. He'll be wanting to get a good exit and use DRS on the way down to turn 12.
And this is something I mentioned earlier about the hard tyres. I can say that my rears are not feeling too good at this moment in time. So it could be, the pendulum could be swinging towards the hard tyre winners at this moment.
Yeah, it does look that way. Start of lap 11 now with Ben leading.
Because Doris has just got through on Roddy, so you can see that hard tyre pace is definitely there, and I think Roddy and I may just be struggling a little bit for that rear grip.
Bit of a twitch for Doris out of turn 2, trying to get the power down, but it does look like the hard tyres are coming into play now.
But it is getting dark.
Yeah, I'd say the shadows are near enough all gone now, so
Yeah, definitely looks that way.
Single tracks in. That's an early one. Let's see what he's on. He's on another set of medium tyres, so he's not on intermediates just yet. So it must have been for repairs or some other needs. As we jump to the front to see if Saviour can have a look at Ben, he does. Makes the position swap even before turn 12, so they're leapfrogging. And Kid can see them in the distance, as it's gone very, very hazy now, so I'm guessing the rain must be very, very close.
Yeah, definitely imminent. You can feel it sort of through the cars now. Of course, it's a little bit different now with realistic performance, and you can definitely feel not just the tyres now, but everything is just a little bit skatier. You could feel that there's just not the overall grip out here now at this moment in time. So yeah, definitely coming, and it is just one of those wait moments really. It's how long can you wait, how patient can you be, and then of course, when do you go, when do you
Roddy's picked up 3 seconds now as well, and there's quite a few gaps opening up towards the front. It's towards the back where we've still got some of the trains, so you lot that are out front on the medium tyres are probably feeling the effects probably a bit more than the hard tyres, and it is showing because there's many gaps opening up as Doris has got ahead of Kid. So Doris leading tier 2 as Ben's and Saviour still scrapping away for first and second overall and tier 1. 13 people watching. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to the MRC channel, hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell to be notified when we go live. We have 5 races a week. Friday, 2 on a Monday and 2 on a Wednesday. And you'll be notified when every single race goes live as we focus.
I have seen spots. It is now beginning.
Yeah, we
to
can
rain.
see. Just jumped on board with Ben briefly. You can see the streaks on the car, so the rain is here. The question is now, who's going to make the decision to go? Who's going to make the early call and who's going to brave it longer? It's all about timing. Making the call spot on.
Yeah, that is where does the crossover happen. That is exactly it. And I think sometimes if you could go early, sometimes reap benefits, but take a bit too much life out of them. I think there's a car behind me. Loppy has gone.
Loppy's in. As we'll see the intermediates there, the green wall. We've got Aston Martin out in the pits as well for Rassan. So Rassan making the early call as well to go to intermediates. We have a yellow flag. Trying to see who it probably could have been.
It is very, very slippery out here. Wow, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, we just jumped to you and seeing you trying to collect the car through turn 7.
Yeah, that was a bit twitchy. Broke early and wow, there's just nothing. So I think even pitting the laps that they have was good. Was a decent
we're just
shout,
seeing from the helicopter view that we was all over the shot there. Single tracks in, he's gone to the intermediates. Now, what will the leading 3 do? Will they pit this lap? Because, as we saw with Mark,
you just have to.
Saviour's in, Ben's... Oh, Saviour has hit the wall. He tried to brake for the pit line. His back end stepped out, and he's lost the place to Kid and Doris as well, and probably damaged his wing in the process. It was so slippery on the way into the pits. DRS disabled. There's the sign. We are now wet race conditions, and we have a virtual safety car. There is I think there's a Ferrari briefly stationary at turn 2. I think that would be Freddy. That's the only car I could see stationary at the time, but drive-through for Jules. It's really kicked off now. We're at the phase with the direct tyres, and now with the rain in effect, it counts as a neutraliser, because as we know in driving, some people may be phenomenal in dry conditions, but those that can handle the wet conditions, this is their time to shine. To expect things to probably alter a little bit, as Rassam with a drive-through penalty. There's many penalties all of a sudden, so we'll quickly have a little look at the penalties. Kidd drive-through in second. We've got 3 seconds for Roddy in fifth. Jackster with 3. Rassam drive-through. Many drive-throughs. G-Star, Soze as well. Jules. Many people picking up drive-throughs on that virtual restart. But Ben still leads. He's got 1.7 seconds to Doris. It's all about getting those intermediates switched on now. You can see the spray being kicked up as Freddie has retired in the pits. And judging by that tut in that 3 seconds, a certain somebody's not happy with himself. But this is where
champions. But yeah.
Oh, that's fitting. That's fitting with you being a champion.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't normally hit that. To be fair, so it's a new one for me. But yeah, this is very slippery, because with us having the dry qualifying and then the dry start to the race, and we don't know how long this rain's going to last, of course, you know, probably people have erred a bit towards... Sorry
to cut in, Mark. I'm sorry to people watching the stream, but all I've got on my screen at the moment is communicating with online services.
Well, so that's a strange one.
And... Oh, it did come up with an error. Am I still in? Still in? No, I'm having. It's having
it. The stream, is it?
No, it's still going. Hopefully, it's sorted it. Bit of a moment there. I do apologise. Stream is still going.
Strange one. Must be the wet weather.
Bit of a moment there with Freddie leaving the session, which has probably upset my connection a little bit, but hopefully it's sorted. We're still going, we're still live, we're still racing. That track is definitely wet, I can say as well. The lead out front is 9.8 seconds. Ben leading tier 1 is Armar's retired, and we have a full safety car.
That looks like onto the pit straight. I think he's gone. And like I said, there's just no grip anywhere. And I was about to say about the setups that we're using here. If people have gone for, oh, what happened there? I just had a collision with a wall somehow. So I don't know if I've got damage. I think it popped up, so I may have some damage as well now.
Yeah, track limits will start playing effect now, because especially with the slippery wet conditions, Jules with a drive-through, speeding under the safety car. I don't know if those that had the drive-through at the virtual have managed to serve him yet, because there's still plenty of black and white flags on the left-hand side of the timing page. As Ben watching his delta very carefully, you could tell by that with the way how slow he was coming out of turn 10 to get that delta up. Getting the delta in the green, you don't want your delta in the red. Plenty of spray coming off those intermediates now. At least this safety car allows everybody to have a little breather and gather themselves up. A single track with a drive-through speeding under safety car as well now. Many drive-throughs coming in as Saviour's pitted, Mark's in as well.
Yeah, I think I've got wing damage, so it's sort of forced on me. Well, hopefully it'll actually change this. Which it didn't. So that was a wasted pit stop.
Oh, well. Ben's caught the Aston Martin safety car, so for this brief period, it says virtual safety car in the top left of my screen, but it is a full safety car, because you can see the beautiful Aston Martin leading the cars round. I'm a very, very biased. I'll always think the Aston Martin safety car is far superior than the Mercedes.
It is a nicer looking car, and I think did I hear somewhere now? Correct me if I'm wrong. That it's a bit slower than the Mercedes safety car. I could be wrong with that one.
I'm not 100% sure, but I did hear something about it.
But no, it is a lovely looking thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, whilst we're under safety car, you mentioned yourself clipping the Wall of Champions earlier.
Yeah.
Last time we raced in Canada, which was season 14, which was the first season we had on this game's life cycle, we had 3 current champions either hit or clip the Wall of Champions that season. 2 of them DNF'd, 1 managed to carry on, and those 3 were in reverse order of happening. You had Eugeni clip the Wall, I think it was Extreme on the Wednesday. We had Gav going into the Wall of Champions in Tier 3 on the same day in Tier 3. But the first person to do it in Tier 2 at the end of Lap 2 was myself. So there's the 3. That's my moment of shame right there.
I thought you were going to mention me, and I'm thinking, did I? I can't remember that. I can't remember much, to be honest. But
funnily enough, I was the first person that week to bury it in the Wall of Champions, and it was only lap 2.
Oh. It's sort of one of those, if you just take too much speed, you kiss the curb, that's sayonara, isn't it?
It didn't help, I'll say, I'm not blaming him in any way, shape or form, but it didn't help being so close to the rear of Stube at the time with the dirty air coming off of his car, which unsettled my car through the chicane.
Yeah, it does make a big difference around there because it's such a heavy braking zone as well. And a difficult braking zone. There's sort of only one line through it, so it is quite tough. But yeah, I don't know. I think the safety car may come in this lap. I'll be surprised if it stays out. But Rassam's going to drive through.
There's quite a few cars with drive-throughs. We'll get them back up again just to run through them. Drive-throughs are Kid Dynamite in 3rd, Rassam in 7th, Jules in 12th, and Single Track in 13th. Those are the cars with drive-throughs. So luckily for Jules and Single Track being towards the tail end of the field, they can manage it and probably dive into the pits at the end of the start of the safety car restart and serve them as quickly as possible. Kid, with being in 3rd, may have to go round a lap before he serves his, and Rassam, I think, has dropped it. He's just dropped a few positions. Yeah, he's dropping down the order big time.
He's in the pits at the minute. I wonder if he thinks he can try to serve that now. I hope he doesn't, because that's... And this is the hard thing, because if you try to go the lap, sometimes you can... If you're close to the front, then you try to take it when the safety car comes in. But sometimes it doesn't let you. It depends on where the safety car is and who's crossed the line as well. So it can... It's a little bit of a glitch in this one for the drive-through on that one, but yeah, it's going to be... Hopefully these drivers who've got it at the moment.
Yeah, Rassam's come out and he's still got his drive-through against his name, but with Jules, Single Track and Rassam being at the back, they've got easier chance to time their drive-throughs at the end at the restart. And because everyone's going to a set delta by the safety car, there is no dry line. You can see the...
That's it. There's the tyre tracks, but this rain's coming down quite a bit harder now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see if... yeah, I've just had a check, so... It's
safety
the heavy
car
rain.
in.
This is rain is with us for a little while now, so... I'm just wondering if it is a potential crossover for
I'm
West,
guessing
but
that's,
I don't know if it's wet yet.
It doesn't look full wet conditions at the moment. The rain is consistent, but it still looks intermediate conditions. We'll find out once some of that standing water gets removed when we go green flag racing, as Ben weaving to get heating those intermediates for this restart. You can see the lines he's leaving where he's clearing the water, and he's going to go out of turn 30. No, he's gone now. Foot to the floor with Doris just behind. Kid in the pitch to serve his drive through, as well as single track and Rassam. Jules has carried on, so he's looking to serve his drive through probably next lap. But we are green flag again. Kid Dynamite disqualified for ignoring drive through penalty.
That's it. If you went too soon and didn't get a chance to serve it, that's exactly what I mean. That's the thing that the game does with that. That's the jeopardy really of it. But he obviously had it. That's just really horrible timing that the safety car came out as well for him, and has hurt him really badly, obviously, through that.
Yeah, so, single track and Rassam has served theirs. Jules is the only one yet to serve the drive-through. So Jules, get in at the end of this lap and serve it. Get it out of the way and gain the time back. In the meantime, I've only just noticed this. Jackster P4. He's quietly come through with all the palaver with the changing of tyres. Yes, he's just been overtaken by Saviour, but he finds himself in 3rd place in Tier 2. Phenomenal stuff for Jackster at this stage. Yes, he's got penalties to his name, but as we know, with the wet conditions, anything can happen. But yeah, Jackster currently third in Tier 2, because Roddy, his teammate in Tier 2, is second, and Doris is leading while in second overall, trying to take the fight to Ben in these wet conditions. Doris looking a lot more stable in these wet conditions. He's making a move alongside Ben on the way down to turn 8. Mercedes gets past the Haas. Looks a lot more comfortable in these conditions, Doris. But Ben's there, Roddy's there as well. As Roddy's looking on the inside of Ben for second, but Ben holds off. He holds second place. And because DRS has been disabled now, everybody's got to get the overtakes done themselves. There is no drag reduction aid for any of the drivers, as Kid has left the session after his disqualification. Doris is in. He's gone full wets.
Wet tyres.
Yep, Doris has changed to the full wets. So he's taking a gamble going full wets. So he's going to be one to watch. And I know Mark's going to be using me to his absolute full usage to find out how those wets are doing. Benefits of being driver come, I know.
Yeah, it is very, very slippery, but I don't know if it's quite there yet. Yeah, it's the inters seem okay at the minute.
I mean, we have had those moments in the past in past races where it's looking like full wets, and it is full wets, but it's pretty much on the, you know, like balancing on the edge of inters and wets, so they're both working as well as each other.
Yeah, I think that could be the point we're at the minute, because it's a half dry line, but that's just a general racing line you can still see. But yeah, it's I think there or thereabouts. Saviour's disappeared up the road, honestly, he's gone.
Yeah, keeping an eye on Doris. The gap is 8.8. I don't think the wets are the right tyre to be on at the moment. Although it is only his first lap on them, so he's still having to get them working. Although he's just took the gap down to G-Star to 8.4 through the chicane. So he took a big chunk through the chicane. I don't know if he got that bang on. he's
That's
having
just where
moments.
confidence comes into it as well.
Yeah.
You know, to feel where the grip is, to feel how much of you can put the throttle down and where you can brake as well. So it comes down to that in the wet weather.
Yeah, as Soze has made a move on Jackstar. That's 5th and 6th. So Soze has put himself net P2 for tier 2, with Doris taking the gamble to full wets. He is getting that. He's actually taking the gap down briefly at times. It's down to 7, just over 7.2 seconds. It's 7 seconds. So it may be the case where both tyres are working, probably, because he does seem to take the gap down at brief points. It's probably just his confidence in the wet as well, because he took the fight to Ben very early after the restart in these wet conditions.
And that's no mean feat either, is it? We know that from watching Tier 1 and I say taking part in it. I'm not normally anywhere close to him. But yeah, that's no mean feat, taking the fight to a man of Benny's speed. So yeah, that's some good going.
Yeah, the gap to Doris and G-Star is 6.3, 6.2. That is coming down at moments, so probably something for people to think of. But we're watching the battle out front, the front three: Roddy, Ben, Saviour. Roddy leading tier 2 and overall at this point, as Ben's lining up a move around the outside into turn 10. Doesn't get it paid off, and Saviour trying to pull off a Lewis Hamilton-esque moment, trying to sneak on the inside of both Roddy and Ben as they went through turn 10, but was able to get Ben but not able to get Roddy, so Saviour finds himself in 2nd place. G-Star has just gone past Jackster. Doris still plucking away on those full wets. Jules 3 seconds. You can see the dry-ish line now where the cars are removing that standing water. But Doris plucking away on those wets, and he's really bringing the gap down to the cars in front.
Yeah, I think it is definitely a good point to be at the crossover period as it stands. There's enough grip, I think, with these inters, but it's sort of it's still, every corner is a sort of venture into the unknown, really.
Yeah, apart from the front three, it's quite spread as we go down the pecking order, and the only other cars in a scrap are Single Track and Rassam in 11th and 12th. We'll keep with the battle for 1st, 2nd and 3rd between Roddy, Saviour and Ben, Red Bull, Alpine and Haas. To be fair, we could have a real lot. It was possible to have a real life top 3 of these cars, especially when the rain hits, because as we know, the rain neutralizes things. But at the moment, Roddy holding station in 1st with that penalty. But even with the penalty, I think it's 6 seconds. He's
all right.
He's got Soze outside of that 6 seconds, so he is safe. Yeah. He is leading tier 2 as it stands still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay at the moment personally. I'm trying to match the gap more to the drivers behind.
Saviour tried to get it stopped for turn 10 to take the tight line at the turn 10 chicane to try and make a move on Roddy, but Roddy with the outside line through 10 was able to get a better grip, but Saviour takes Roddy on the run down to turn 12, so Saviour back into the lead of this race. As we know, Saviour a dab hand in the wet in Tier 1 and in Extreme and in X. And by the way he's showing, Roddy's a dab hand in the wet conditions. He's really showing what he's capable of since joining the league at the start of this season. Showing some very, very good skills.
Yeah, I'd have to say he is, absolutely, and this could be one surefire way to get himself promoted into Tier 1.
Yellow flag, but it's quickly cleared up. Let's see. Oh, it's Soze with the yellow flag. He's had a moment at turn... I'm just checking my track map. I think it's turn 3 or 4 where he had his moment. But the yellow flag was lifted up quickly as Ben now makes it past Roddy. But Roddy with a better exit at 10. It's going to be near enough side by side, but Roddy backs out, slots in behind Ben's house. Ooh, Ben getting very close to Saviour on the way through turn 12. As you can see, just in the hazy spray at the back of shot coming through turn 13 was a particular Aston Martin. There he is in shot going into turn 1. Plucking away nice and fine.
And pretty much that's all I'm trying to do really, is just keep it neat, not let the gap above get too large, but then also not lose too much time to G-Star behind. And I'm curious now. I can see Doris in my Delta, so see what he can do as well.
Yeah, he's 1.4 off a G-Star. He's been plucking away on those full wet tyres. Everyone else has decided to stick with the inters. And to be fair, a lot of you on the intermediate still running are doing pretty much what the real life drivers would do, because I think they've even said themselves that it's not worth using the full wets because the amount of grip the inters still have, even when they're near enough worn, they'd rather take the inters till they're worn out rather than switching to the full wets because they're not very nice.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this earlier about the difference in the grip levels. I think this is where now you just sort of hang on really now towards it. Is it worth having a pit stop? And I think the top 4 of us are in the same mindset. There's actually no point with it at this moment in time. 5 more laps after this one to go, so you just sort of hold it on a little bit. As I lost quite a bit of time there out of suddenly to the guys ahead, but yeah, this is it. You just sort of hold on, just feather everything round and just keep yourself planted really.
Yeah,
and it's also, you mentioned about looking at the rear tyres, as I need to go around turn 7. Big kick randomly, so that's exactly that. This is where you just want to look after those rear tyres, which clearly after that little oversteering moment, as soon as I touch the throttle, that I haven't.
Lopez decided to box, and he's coming out. We'll see what his tyres he's on. He's gone for a fresh set of intermediate tyres on Lopez.
Yeah, it's probably a better call, I think, in these conditions. There is that racing line there. It is dry, so I think that's probably not that drier, I should say, rather than being dry. But yeah, those top 3 are absolutely disappearing now in the distance. The gap was just over 3 and now it's over 5. I know I've had a scruffy lap, but those guys are just very consistent there.
Doris coming to your rescue though. He's about to take the fight to G-Star for 5th and 6th. He's on the tail of the V-carb. He is pulling over to the wet stuff to keep those wets tyres cool. So clever tactics by Doris, going offline to cool the tyres on the straights. As he's
and also it just helps the visibility as well.
Yeah, I tend to do that under the safety car as well. I'll pull off the line just to see where cars are in perspective as myself.
Yeah.
And if I were on track at this point, I would love to be in your situation right now, on your own, where you could manage the race yourself and manage those tyres, as Doris is having a little look at G-Star. Just showing his nose, getting really close to the car in front. Doris looking racy on those full wet tyres at this stage.
Yeah, and they are fresher than, even if, you know, it may not be full wet conditions. I think you're right, it's still at that crossover period. But they're a lot fresher than the majority of us. So even if it's still that crossover point, it's still going to afford a lot more grip to him.
Yeah, he has a little weave behind G-Star, probably to get a bit of visibility. Lorpy picks up 3 seconds. Handful of drivers with their penalties, so we'll have a quick penalty update. Roddy on 6, Mark on 3, Doris on 3, Jules on 9, Jackster on 3, Lorpy on 3, Rassam on 3, and Single Track on 3. That's the current penalty update for track limit penalties. As we still see Doris hound in the back of G-Star's V-car, as we have a yellow flag on the exit of turn 4 for a Red Bull. That's Jackster. He's had a little moment and he's missing an end plate on the left hand side of his car, and in these wet conditions I would say all your aero parts are key. So Jackster, I would think, will be on his way in and probably put in a fresh set of intermediate tyres to take him to the flag.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It just, I mean, I apparently crystal wall, I don't know if it popped up, so I think it's just invisible damage. But the cars seem to feel okay, but you're right there. As soon as you lose something in these wet conditions, that downforce, the whole car, it just changes so much. And yeah, you're right, it is absolutely key in these conditions. And to be fair, around this circuit, even in the dry, because it's...
Oh, we've got a yellow flag.
Ooh.
Doris has had a moment out the final corner. He's missing his entire wing.
Oh, wow.
No, he's not actually. It's not his entire wing, it's an end plate. It looked from a distance that he had no front wing, but he's missing an end plate. So he's had a moment through turn 12 and 13, back to the front. Saviour in control, in command. He's got just over a 2-second lead to Ben. He's got Single Track just ahead of him, and Single Track, when he gets close enough, I'm sure Single Track will do the sporting thing and get out the way of the leaders once they catch him. But Saviour enters turn 12 and 13 to go on to lap 34, so Saviour is about to start the penultimate lap. So there we go, lap 34 of 35, so he's got 2 more cycles to do. He's got a 2.4 second buffer to Ben at the moment, so he's in complete control, in command. Roddy doing what he needs to do in third, but he's still leading tier 2 as Doris has picked up 3 seconds. That'll probably be with the end plate missing, the lack of downforce. And as it stands, Mark is currently sitting third in tier 1. I know he probably didn't want me to say that because it probably jinxed things, but he's looking very, very good for a third place finish in the tier 1 classifications.
Yeah, I'll be very, very happy with that, I must admit. I'm still keeping my eye on G-Star behind me, because that gap is at times coming down a little bit, and I know I've only got sort of 1 more lap to go, but it's still, you know, like you say, any kind of mistake for myself, any kind of slow corner, any kind of slide on the rear, that could just completely take away that potential podium, as you say.
Yeah, and as we all know by the saying, it's not over until the fat lady sings. As
Absolutely.
we carry on with the runners, Soze is second for tier 2, so he's looking to be bringing that Mercedes home second for tier 2. Doris, despite the damage, is third in Tier 2. Just keeping it out of the Wall of Champions on the exit of turn 13. We'll jump to Saviour, as we are on lap 35 of 35. He's put a lap on single track, and he'll be coming to turn 10 for the very last time. Since getting past Ben, he's been in complete control. He's opened up the gap, ticked the laps away, and he's heading towards the win overall and a win in Tier 1. So Saviour through turns 12 and 13. He'll see the checkered flag. He is weaving. He is a happy chap. He takes the win in Tier 1 and overall. Ben will take second overall and in Tier 1. Roddy third overall, but first in Tier 2. Mark crosses the line, fourth, third in Tier 1. G-Star crosses the line, Jules in sixth. Soze will bring the Mercedes home in seventh, and it will be second place in Tier 2 for Soze. Doris crosses the line in eighth and looks to be finishing off the top three for Tier 2. Jackster comes over the line in the Red Bull P9. Lorpe will finish 10th. And then we've got Rassam, the last one to find the flag, in 11th. Interesting things learnt for the tiers next week, as Soze's been given Driver of the Day by the game. I will be thinking of that in the meantime. As we head to the top three on the podium, Saviour smack bang in the middle, in his favourite spot on the top step. Ben alongside, as well as Roddy. So we've got a British sandwich with a German filling on that podium. Oh, and now I've got a connection with online services again, so you're not seeing the celebrations. I wish people wouldn't leave the lobby so soon, because it does hamper with connections, and I don't like it with being hosting the stream, so people, please stay in the lobby until we're done. So yeah, Saviour wins, Ben second, Roddy third, Mark fourth, G-Star fifth, Jules sixth, Soze seventh, Doris eighth, ninth is Jackster, 10th Lorpe, Rassam 11th, single track 12th, and then the non-finishers, Armour Red 13th, Freddy 14th, and Kid Dynamite getting disqualified due to not serving his drive-through. Many things happened.
That was interesting.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you've learnt quite a lot for Monday, and I've definitely learnt quite a lot from just watching.
Yeah, absolutely. I've learnt that having no end plate for the majority of that intermediate tyres isn't ideal. It's not fun. But and I've also realised that I didn't already know. I'm very quick. But no, it's an interesting race. It was good fun. Had a few good fights myself with a few people. No, really enjoyed it. And yeah, that was really good. Really, yeah, just a nice race, to be honest. A little bit lonely towards the end, trying to manage gaps, but it's what happens.
Yeah, due to thing with the connecting to services, I wasn't able to really think about Driver of the Day, so I apologise on that one. But that is MRC-X done for Canada. We have 4 more races to go at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We have Tier 2 at 7 o'clock on Monday, Tier 1 at 8:45 on the very same day. Tier 3 will kick Wednesday off at 7 o'clock, and then we have the No Assist Crazy Gang going at 8:45. So plenty more races to happen at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Thank you for being driver comms, Mark.
No problem.
And
Didn't say a lot, but you were on fire.
no.
So thank you, mate. Brilliant. And yeah, thank you for having me, though.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
So yeah, keep an eyes out for when we next go live on Monday for Tier 2. That's it from me and Mark. Good night.
Good night.